Apparently. Yep. Apparently it's time to get going again. It's Wednesday. It is Mornings in the Lab with Keith, Jon, Marty, and producer Flynn. There we go. Yes, it is. What's going on, man? Today is the day we are going to break free from expectations.
The uncle tried to blame me for drinking the gin.
We need to be the ones who are driving the conversation and driving the narrative and not allowing others to do that. Talk all the smack you want and have all the fun smack you want. If you're great, have some fun with us. If you're being a jerk, we're just going to kick you out. It's actually as simple as that because we don't want you to wreck the fun for everybody else.
I only acknowledge positivity in my life, and that's what makes it.
Now, I was just going to say, man, for the trolls, man, you got to look at yourself in the mirror. What's going on in your life that you have nothing better to do at 8 o'clock? You got to look at yourself. You're really a loser, and you don't affect me. I like my life. I like who I am. I built myself into who I am, so you're not going to hurt my feelings.
The minute you get into, like, the bullshit, the casual homophobia, the misogyny, like that kind of stuff, it just creates a space where nobody else wants to engage, and we want people to engage.
David runs Royal Restrooms, one of the greatest, cleanest restroom operations in North America.
I've probably taken 3 times more dumps than everybody else on the planet. Once you get used to washing that thing out, you just can't go back to paper alone. People have goals. That's great. Goals are great, but if you have a standard, your goals just fall into line. When you eat as much as I do, right? Sometimes, especially as you get older, you get to that point where you hit the cutter and it's just not as sharp as it used to be. One of the reasons that actually is so helpful with having a bidet is I was going through a roll, sometimes 2 of paper a day. Remember when hit and everybody's running around buying water? I was running around buying paper.
Here is the headline that drew my attention to it. Having Britain's biggest penis, not as swell as you might think. So Matt Barr is known to have Britain's biggest penis. He has a 14-inch penis when not erect, and he is figuring out how to manage life. For those of you that wish to have a huge penis, be careful what you wish for because it's not as much fun as you would like.
This is that guy that's got it's a baby's arm holding onto an apple type situation.
Mike sent over an exceptionally honest, vulnerable video yesterday. He dropped it into my feed, and I just wanted to thank you for that, brother. I appreciate your vulnerability. Resentment is not a superpower, so I invite you to be true to yourself. Inspire your friends, inspire everybody around you to do the same. When you do that, you live the life of a business athlete.
If your partner doesn't want to spend time with you, start looking at yourself and figure out there's something you can do to make it better first.
Maybe her attention is elsewhere, or his attention if there's any ladies watching, or his or her, whatever your sexual preference is. But it's the truth.
Love having you on the show. Thank you. And yeah, good time is most women don't move on until they have someone new. And I'm going to suggest most humans probably don't move on until they have someone new. If your wife is not terrified of spending money and spends a lot of money on things she wants for herself, but tells you never to buy her any gifts for birthdays or anniversaries, this is a bad sign.
If something's going wrong around you, including something with your spouse or your wife or your girlfriend, take action. Do something about it. Don't sit back and say, poor me. You're on your ass eating Cheetos. Get up and take care of yourself.
We all need somebody to say it out loud for us to have that awareness check, right?
Look in the mirror, fix what you can fix, control what you can control, but at the same time, there are some things that are going to be out of your control.
Gentlemen, here's the great opportunity to get your fat ass out of bed this morning and pull your belly in and do something about it, because if you're not looking attractive to her, we talked about it yesterday, I really don't know how you can expect her to want to be attractive for you.
Take her out to a nice restaurant where she's got to get dressed up. You're basically do something where she's going to be excited to get dressed up. You've done whatever you've done to where she doesn't give a damn because you're not investing the time, the effort, the love, all the things that make her want to be.
Rituals signal your brain it's time to get down to business. This helps build a strong association with the routine. Visualize the end game. Picture your future self stronger, more confident, crushing goals. Visualization can motivate you to push through tough days.
After that last time I was on your show, basketball comments, I can't get over them. They're just hurting me. When you mentioned Dennis Rodman and the Five, man. I was in LA filming a show called The 2-Minute Drill, so it's like Shark Tank. We took 12 startup founders through our Startup X program, and they said, hands down, it was the best episode they've ever had because we put in the work. It was like trying to pick my favorite kid because I saw all 6 of these contestants where they were was absolutely terrible on their 2-minute pitch, and every one of them showed up at the high level. The way I view obstacles is they're really just the raw materials for your success. right?
Yeah.
Every obstacle is an ingredient in the success that you're trying to accomplish. You really don't learn anything from winning, although I love to win, but you really learn through the struggle and the failures if you have the right mindset. If you don't have the right destination, you're just grinding yourself into a pillar of salt. So it's really about setting the right destination and then just turning those obstacles and adversity into stepping stones.
Because if you're looking at the problem, you're not looking at solutions. So you got to flip the coin over and realize, yes, this problem, but damn, look at the opportunity attached to it.
They won 3 championships in 5 years. So in the PBL, they were the premier team for sure. I have seen entrepreneurs leave millions of dollars on the table because they didn't have the right operating agreement. They didn't have the right share classes.
We got to get those I's dotted and those T's crossed, because when you do start winning, somebody's going to come at your knees and maybe try to knock you out.
It's not getting to that destination that makes me happy. It's the journey and things I'm doing that gets me there.
A 2023 study in the Journal of Men's Studies found that 50% of men feel significant pressure to live up to their father's expectations.
Parents are just kids that grew up and had kids. Living in unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. I want my ceiling to be your floor. So whatever I've achieved, you need to build off of that.
We want to be happy. As people, we want to be happy. If we can have a good day, especially every day, it makes it much easier for us to be happy. We cannot control what happens around us, but we have 100% control of how we react to what happens around us.
Those dreams have now met reality, and I just tell people, and I've been very fortunate since even my senior year in high school, I've been around great people, I've been around great entrepreneurs. Wherever you're at in life, you have accomplished something that you have to give to someone else. So if you work at a local gas station, there's people out there that don't have a job that don't know how to get a job at a gas station. So go find someone and help them.
Social media is turning every human being into imposters. Marty, men are living double lives. One for social media, one for reality.
You can rent a Lambo and post it and make it look like your life is something it's not. Have you seen they have like little studios that look like the inside of a private jet? You can rent it out for an hour and go take pictures in there.
Social media is a tool, right? And you can either use it or it can use you. Those are the options. So you have to ask yourself, who's the tool? Is it the platform or is it you?
The pain of sacrifice is temporary. The pain of regret is forever.
Second hour of the show, we're going to lean into our creator spotlight, and then we're going to come back and continue the dialogue, men, around men's expectations. She's championing the transformation from AI hurdles to AI-driven progress. Like any intricate system, AI has core elements. When they click into place, they shift our understanding.
She's learned how to make something really complicated, really easy to understand for all people, which I love. The best thing that she's recently shared is a hack. She takes you step by step through how do you actually take advantage of the data that LinkedIn collects on all of us. You can download that for free.
I made a deal with myself. I'm much happier knowing I did too much than too little.
Pressure is my cousin. Me and Pressure are related.
I love that.
Pressure been at the cookout. Me and Pressure been to the family reunion. I'm used to Pressure.
I struggle with whether I'm a good dad. I know I'm a good dad. There's logic there, but then I go and beat myself up about it. I ask myself whether I'm a good dad, and people no, Dad, you're a great dad. Yeah, what about those moments where I don't feel like I am?
I know that if I commit to whatever I'm doing, including fatherhood, at the very least, I'm teaching them how to commit.
Most humans don't understand what it takes to have what most humans want. Most humans want to have a lot of money. And anybody wants to disagree with me, you can fuck off, because I know you all do. It's true, because money does change your life. It improves your quality of life. If you want to change the world, you got to put the time in.
All of a sudden, they get to be like that. My middle daughter just went to the workforce, and she's now realizing how massively she separates herself from the pack because of the way I raised her.
If you don't want to be like everybody else, you actively can't be like everybody else. I'm showing my kids dad's habits, and that one day my kids are going to go, okay, I see it. I get it. I get why dad was putting all that time in. He taught me all these great habits.
If you want the stuff that most people will never have, you got to be willing to do the stuff that most people will never do.
I know that bad dads, fathers that aren't great, don't think about the fact that they're not great. And they don't worry about the fact that they're not great. So the fact that you are sitting there and you are worried about it, by proxy means you're a good dad, because otherwise you wouldn't give a shit. But it's not about trying to be perfect. It's about trying to do your best in the moment that you're at.
I quickly realized that, holy God, thank God I'm not like the other dads. So I use that as a, okay, if my kids start referencing that I'm like their friends' dads, I'm slipping. They didn't live a life that was inspiring. They didn't live a life that helped their kids understand how beautiful life can be. My poor wife, goodness gracious. She, of course, was an adult. So like she would deal with stuff like females would come up to her and say, so you're John Anderson's wife? And she'd say, yeah. And the lady would say, I'm his girlfriend. It's brutal. I wanted them to understand to go and do things that turned them on, so to speak. Go do the things that inspired them. And there were going to be some rough edges and some tough, the path wasn't going to be really smooth. And I needed them to recognize that to get wherever they wanted to go, that this is the stuff they're going to have to manage. They only pick on the people that are stepping outside the box. So be glad that they're picking on dad, because that means that dad is doing something that inspires him.
People are losers, man.
It's a question of influence. Have I done enough to prepare my son for the real world? We started the show off with talking about the dude in Britain with the world's or Britain's biggest, again, we're curious to know how somebody biggest penis in Britain. That's how we started the show, and we're finishing the show with being a great father.
If those two things can come up in a show, that's the show I want to be a part of.
It's just something about when I connect and I get to talk to clients and I get to help them see things from a different perspective. It really lights my fire.
Go tune in to see Marty's show here today. And Nation, you keep turning into Marty's show. One day you're going to be surprised because Anderson's going to be there.
It's about the journey to the show, not about the end of the show. Okay?
The feelings and emotion that I am having for you two guys grows every single day as I get to know both you guys. And I'm so appreciative of that. Our show is going to give nobody an effing excuse to not go achieve their biggest goals, because Rich Ingram is going to give you that motivation. I'll capture some Keith Billis in happy baby pose for a show tomorrow so Johnny Anderson can get a sense of Uncle Keith in the happy baby pose. Mornings in the lab, Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock Eastern time.